So hello everybody, my name is Martin. Welcome to my channel. So I just wanted to talk about what makes these little mini motos so fun, and specifically the Honda Monkey. Uh, it's kind of interesting because you would think, I've met some people like, or some of my friends that are like, why'd you buy this bike? Like they don't see the appeal in it. But when you either kind of like it or you don't, but for the most part, if I go and have a coffee somewhere, everybody's like all over this bike. They're all like, wow, I've never seen one in person, and it's just neat. It's just the cool little nostalgic bike to see, and I haven't really seen any other ones out on the road, so I guess you don't really see many of them. But uh, what's the appeal of these little things? Like, why are they so fun? And I guess it kind of boils down to it's just a quirky, kind of really neat little bike. And there is a lot of truth to the saying that riding that adage that's saying that riding a slow bike fast is a lot more fun than riding a fast bike slow. And I guess that's very true with these little bikes. The sensation of speed is just so much higher than like my bigger bike. So I have like a Suzuki DRZ 400 and a Suzuki DRZ, or sorry, a Suzuki DR 650, and they're a lot more powerful. We're talking 9 horsepower here. This thing, you're pretty much full throttle all the time on this bike. It's either on or off. But the fun thing is that you can just ring it out all the time. Like you can just have constant full throttle. Like it's just fun to wind out a bike and go through all the gears, and you're really not even close to even getting in trouble. So that's the kind of fun part of these little mini motos. Um, Also, like like when you're going from a car to a motorcycle, like there's a really big difference again in that sensation of speed. So you feel like you're going a lot faster. You got the wind, the sound when you're on a motorcycle compared to in a car where 100 kilometers per hour, 60 miles per hour. Driving is feeling like you're just sitting in your living room, and then when you get on a bike and do those same speeds, you're really, you get all the sensations of speed that you do having a motorcycle, just not having a car around you, being inside of a cabin. So the same is true then when you go from bigger bikes to little bikes like this. Um, like 60 kilometers per hour on this little bike feels like 100 on my bigger bike. So you don't really have to be, you know, breaking the speed limits all the time to have fun, and you could just completely wind out this bike like all the time, and that's what's kind of fun about it. um, it's definitely a really neat bike. I was instantly interested in it when I saw it being launched in the US, and I think that was 2017. It never came to Canada. I was actually thinking about going to import one. I wanted one so badly when they were launched, and they didn't come to Canada until 2022, I believe, when they changed them to a 5-speed. So for whatever reason, I guess the laws here or whatever, they just didn't bring them to Canada. So having them available here, and then actually they were like impossible to get when they were launched here. There was a waiting list forever. I remember going to a bike shop and getting put on that waiting list, and they never called me. They said they basically have like, hundreds of buyers for every bike that comes, and they only get like 5 or 6 a year or something. The demand was so high, couldn't even get it. So it just kind of fizzled out. And then I saw one at a bike shop, and that's the first time I actually physically got to see one. This was just last year, actually, last summer. And as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh yeah, okay, this is kind of really neat. When you get to touch and feel it all, you're like, wow, this is a cool little bike. So then I I basically, I just kind of started passively looking for one. I found a great deal on this one that it had like 25 kilometers on it when I bought it. Um, so it was basically a brand new bike, good deal. So I just jumped on it. And actually, I have a really good friend, and he has a DR 650 and a DRZ 400. So we have the same bikes. And I really thought by buying one he'd probably buy one, but he never did. And I guess so. I mean, it would be a lot of fun to ride one of these with somebody, because when we go for rides, I would be really outclassed if I go with any friends that have 400, 650s and larger bikes. Uh, I don't think it would be that fun to be riding with them because they'd always be waiting for me. Um, but that being said, I thought for sure he was going to get one, and then I think like the pair of them, or if you can, find some guys to ride with, which is probably going to be my next step, like some Grom club or something where all these guys are running these mini motos. Maybe find a group on Facebook or something and meet with them. That would be a lot of fun because it would be really uh, fun to be, just a hooligan with a bunch of your buddies and you're all riding these little bikes. I mean, that would be really fun. Actually, used to like amateur season points race cars back in the 90s. And remember, I had a couple Honda CRXs, and then I moved up to Mustang 5 liters and was racing those. They're my daily drivers. So this is just like an open class racing point series season race. So it's not like serious, but the problem was you could bring, whatever car you wanted. So some rich guy would come with like a Porsche 911 or a Corvette and just absolutely cream everybody. So, again, there's that like outclass scenario. It was really fun racing, but I also have a 70s Volkswagen Beetle that I'm going to make a video on coming up and a little review and what I think about that car. But I've had that car for 25 years or so, and there was a racetrack around kind of close to where I live, but I could it was only Volkswagens, and the only rule was you have to have a stock engine. So you have a stock 1600 57 horsepower engine and you'd race, and that was the best racing I've ever done because it doesn't matter how much money you have and you're not driving a fast car. I mean, the car has 57 horsepower, but the racing is so intense because it's like you just shift marginally faster than the next guy just to get ahead in a turn, brake later, and it was just neck and neck racing all the time, and I really enjoyed that. I wish that kind of class existed, but it unfortunately ended. I guess there wasn't enough interest on it, and I think it was like a private club, private track that was lost their insurance to do this or something like that. So that class ended, but man, was that ever fun. Just that neck and neck racing, and it just showed like you don't have to, be all out crazy. I mean, on the back straight of that track, where like on let's say for example, like even a Honda CRX or that 5 liter Mustang on that track, I would hit about 140, 150 kilometers per hour, and on the Volkswagen, I'd probably hit 50, 60 miles an hour. So you're not going crazy fast, but the fact is that you're, racing everybody in the class, and nobody has like an advantage. So it was really a lot of fun because it didn't matter how much money you have. So all my focus was actually in suspension and braking and just tuning that stock engine to get every single ounce of power out of it. And it didn't take a lot of money either. Like it was my, toy car, like my classic car that I could drive to the track and race and have just the best racing I've ever had. And when you start getting into these high horsepower cars, you're really, you're spending money. And even in that open series class, I mean, even just putting your daily driver on the track, I was breaking sway bar links, drive shafts, U-bolts, like suspension issues. I could just beat a car on the track. I went through brakes and tires like there was no tomorrow. But yeah, it got expensive pretty quick. And at the time, I wasn't like making enough money to really supplement. I still did it, but it got expensive. And then if you wanted to get it serious into it, you would really be spending some cash, and then competing against people with an unlimited budget. So, I mean, so that's I guess what makes this bike kind of fun is you could just really all out ride this thing and literally go by a cop and they would look at you like you're riding a bicycle. I mean, it's not a quick bike. It's got some pep to it at the lower speeds, but um, it's by no means fast. But it is fun to ring it out. One thing this bike really does do is handle like I've never really had a motorcycle that at the lower speeds just it's just really fun to put through the turns, and like I've actually scraped these pegs a couple times uh, on some crazy turns, and you get like it's a lot more fun to bring this through a turn because you're not really worried about losing it or dumping it or anything like that. Um, you're not really even going fast. You're going 50, 60 kilometers per hour. I don't know, what is that, 35, 40 miles an hour. And you're just having the time of your life, ripping it through turns, and it's just a fun little bike in that regard. So it kind of also reminds me of my youth. I mean, my first bike was an 80cc two-stroke Suzuki, which I actually still have, and I will do a video on that bike too. It was my first bike ever, and I bought it with a blown motor. So it's also the first motor I ever rebuilt. I think I was 11 or 12 years old. I lived on that thing, and mind you, I think it actually had a little more power than this. This is a four-stroke 125. That was an 80cc two-stroke. I was actually bored out to like a 95cc or something like that because it had some cylinder wall damage. But it made a lot of power. I mean, I remember wheeling that in every gear going down the street. I don't think I could do it on this, and I don't really want to try. I guess, when you get older, looping a bike, especially on the pavement, is not really fun. Kind of trying to avoid injury at all costs, but I almost kind of got tempted to practice some wheelies again on this thing. But anyway, just riding these little bikes is just, I don't know, it's fun. And there's also something else I noticed, like, on my bigger bikes, like you're always kind of going faster. This bike, you could just kind of leisurely cruise around and go the speed limit and look around and see stuff you'd never seen before. Like I've been down the same roads on my other bikes. I'm not really looking off to the side. I'd actually find some like kind of little trail or something that I could hit that, if there's no trespassing signs or anything like that at a hydro field or something like that. I've taken this on little trails that I've ridden by 100 times on my bigger bikes and never saw them. So, I mean, that's kind of a benefit. It's kind of fun to just kind of ride around, and even in the city riding and stuff like that, this bike is kind of really a blast uh, to zip in and out. I mean, you just have this nimbleness that you don't have on a larger bike. And again, that sensation of speed, just being so close to the ground on a bike that you could literally just put in your pocket. I mean, it's just really fun to rip this thing around at its full potential all the time, and literally, cars leaving a light normally are probably driving faster than you are. So, but you feel like you're really going quick, like when you're hitting a sharp, hairpin corner at like 60 kilometers per hour, you're really feeling like you're doing 100 in that. And to get that same sensation of speed on my bigger bikes, I do have to be going that 100 kilometer per hour through the turn to really push it. But there's just a fun appeal about this little bike. It's really kind of nostalgic. It's a really neat little, like, look at these guys. I mean, this is a 40 kilometer zone. I'm doing 50. Actually probably 45, and they just went by at like 95 or whatever. That's like in Canada here, that's like lose your license territory. And you know, who doesn't ride like that? I mean, bikes are kind of easy to go fast all the time, but I find like I just take these really relaxing rides with no worries and just having so much fun on this little thing. Um, it's just it's just a fun little bike. I don't know how else to put it. You could probably totally hate this bike when you see it. If you take it for a ride, you know, you'd probably be like, okay, I kind of see the appeal of this little bike that, you know, is just kind of, it's just silly. I don't know how to explain it. It's just a silly, fun little bike. Um, and it's funny, literally, like you go get a coffee and you know, I get swarmed and so many questions about it, like how many cc. Oh wow, it has ABS and inverted forks, and it's a kind of well-built bike. Definitely it definitely is a quality bike, as far as, like, you know, it's like a full-size bike quality. And I really like that aspect of it. It's not cheaply made at all, and I guess that's why the price tag is a little higher on these monkeys than, let's say, a Grom, for example, because they must be much cheaper to make. But uh, when have you rode a bike that's this nimble? Like, I mean, I could literally, I don't know how to explain it. It's just fun. It's just a fun little bike. And I'm not even going fast. I don't know, what am I doing, 50 kilometers per hour? But yeah, that's kind of the appeal of it. And again, if you have like a buddy with them and you're not, you know, I'm always riding this by myself because I wouldn't want to take it out with my friends with bigger bikes. I'd just be holding them back. But imagine having like a group or a couple of close friends with these. Well, these would be so much fun to be going through twisties and, like, you know, just that all out kind of, even like race them you're not even, you know, breaking the law at any situation. So I think that's what be really fun with this bike. um I'd probably really up my enjoyment too if I had a good friend to ride these with. But yeah, that would be really fun. And the other thing that kind of really makes this bike a lot of fun is just, you know, it's pretty capable actually. It's not like, you know, I could probably pretty easily get a ticket with this thing. Um, if you're riding actually with, or if you're driving with cars that are just driving normally, leaving a light, you can easily get ahead of cars. It has enough power. It's not like a scooter where you're just, you know, just in this power deficit all the time. And it actually kind of gets a little bit dangerous. You know, not being able to go with the flow of traffic. I never really found that an issue on this bike. The only time I do is on like those secondary highways where the speed limit is 80 kilometers per hour, which would be, I don't know, roughly 45, 50 miles per hour. I do find that at that point, you know, on these like main kind of secondary highways, that people are driving 60 miles an hour, um, you know, and there's transport trucks and stuff like that going on them. That that is kind of like not a very comfortable situation to be in when you can't really keep up with the flow of traffic, because this bike will pretty much cruise very comfortably at about 85, 90 kilometers per hour, so 50 miles an hour roughly, or 50, 55, in that neighborhood. You could do a couple stretches, and it's actually really happy there. It's not overly revving. The engine doesn't seem stressed. It happily puts along at 85, 90 kilometers per hour all day. And I've taken this on, you know, all day kind of rides, going, you know, 300K a day, just riding around, and never really had an issue uh, with uh, with keeping up with traffic. And if you pick your back routes, I'll usually pick like roads that aren't very busy, that are a lot more, you know, not a lot of people on them. Like this kind of road, I'm absolutely, you know, speed limit here is 40. I'm doing 60, so probably should slow down a bit. But um, I have no problem keeping up with cars. If anything, I could probably outdo some bigger bikes in like these lower speed corners. Um, it definitely can handle some turns a lot harder in those lower speed. Now you could just be full throttle through these turns. Like right now, I'm not even on the gas. I could pass this car. And going downhill like this, I actually have quite a bit of zip. Like I'm on the brakes right now, but um, yeah, that's what makes it a lot of fun. It's just a really fun little. It's a silly, fun little bike. I don't know how else to describe it. It probably will instantly put a smile on your face the second you start riding it. It's really comfortable too. Like the seat is amazing. The riding position is really good. Um, I really enjoy riding it. And I really need to find a group of guys or, somebody to ride these with because I think, riding in a group scenario or with a couple friends or whatever, just none of my friends have one. So I guess I'll have to try and find some social outlet to hook up with some other drivers. I actually did see like a huge group of them going down the main street by my house. So obviously these guys are meeting, and I saw a whole bunch of ROMs and monkeys and the Kawasaki Z125s all riding together in a group, and that looks like a lot of fun. I think I would really enjoy that. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Uh, I think if you ever have the opportunity to try one of these little bikes out, uh, you might see the appeal of them. If you have any questions, feel free to comment in the video. I'll try my best to answer them all. And until the next video, I guess I'll see you guys later. I'll see you guys.